What's up guys? Today we're going to check out Shazam! Fury of the Gods on 4K Blu-ray. I'm not going to get into how good or bad the movie is, I'm just going to share some of my thoughts on the audio and video quality. Now let's go over a few tech specs. The movie was shot in 4.5K, it's got a 4K DI, it's rated PG-13, runtime is 130 minutes, aspect ratio is 239:1, and the audio is in Dolby Atmos. Let's take a look at the Atmos viewer and see how active the mix is. If you don't know what the Atmos viewer is, you can find a link down below in this video's description that tells you all about it. Right in chapter 1, we can see that this is a super active mix. What we have here is Lucy Liu's voice whispering and swirling around through the high channels, and there's also people running around throughout the lower channels with a bunch of other effects that are bouncing everywhere. We've got the same type of effects in chapter 5 when the buildings start moving throughout the different speakers, Doctor Strange style, which sounds like they're circling around the room. In chapter 14, Shazam starts shooting electricity everywhere to make it ricochet off the walls, which you'll hear zipping past your head and bouncing off the high channels. There's some light ambiance during the non-action parts, although some of the scenes that took place in the layer I felt could have sounded a bit more cavernous, seeing as they're in a cave, so I felt that it was flat in parts. As for bass, it's got some impressive sounding action scenes. The tree destroying the stadium will vibrate your walls, and when the dragon's on screen, there's ground shaking low-end rumble. With that said, after listening to Godzilla King of the Monsters, which has a reference quality Atmos mix, I did have to turn up Shazam to 6 dB to get it up to the same level as Godzilla, so that might explain why some of the scenes felt flat. If you're new to the channel and you're into home theater and like to know if a movie's worth playing on your surround sound setup, or want to know about the latest and greatest in audio and video gear, then tap the subscribe button for new weekly videos. For video quality, it's a sharp, fairly crisp looking transfer. The details on close-ups are nicely rendered, so you can count the beads of sweat on Shazam's forehead and even make out the finely detailed patterns in all the costumes. The backgrounds are just as impressive, although with the extra clarity that 4K brings, some of the CG does look noticeably fake, notably the digital creatures running around the city. Now I say it's a fairly crisp transfer because there is a very light layer of noise or digital grain over the entire image, possibly to make the CG and live action blend in better, which does give the movie a filmic look. But just know that it's not a razor-sharp 4K crispy image. As for HDR, it's got a max CLL of 983 and a max FALL of 208, so it's a satisfyingly bright transfer with some eye-blinding specular highlights. Shazam's sparkle fingers and the dragon's breath I'd say are the main standouts. It's got a natural color palette with richly saturated hues, and black levels seem slightly raised in parts but never crushed any shadow details. Overall, I found it to be a solid 4K transfer with excellent detail and some eye-popping specular highlights. I'm going to go with an 8.4 for video. For audio, it's got some really good surround activity for both the lower and high channels with demo quality bass. Albeit you will have to turn up the volume about 6 dB louder than normal, at least I did. So I'm going to go 8.6 for audio. I suppose if you're a fan of the Shazam movies, then this is a safe pickup because it does look and sound really good. Well, those are my thoughts on the 4K transfer. Let me know how you felt about the AV quality. Leave a comment down below and let me know. Now, if you do want to pick up this movie, I will leave some links for it down below in this video's description. As always, guys, thanks for watching. If you want, you can follow us on social media, and if you'd like to support the channel and get exclusive content or great discounts on audio and video gear, then stop by our Patreon page. Be sure to like this video if you found it useful, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you again in the next video.